Good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Before we dive in, kindly like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It helps us bring you more of these updates. Let me take you right into the thick of it. A judge has denied bail to Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, that is the breaking news. The tension around this case has just taken another turn. Here's what's going on. Nnamdi Kanu, leader of IPOB, indigenous people of Biafra, has been in custody as he faces serious charges, terrorism, incitement, and others. Over the years, his case has drawn massive attention from Nigerians, human rights groups, and even international watchers. In this latest development, the Federal High Court in Abuja refused to grant him bail. The court insists it sees sufficient grounds to press on with the trial. That denial means Kanu remains behind bars while his legal team argues over procedure, jurisdiction, his health, and other critical issues. Why this matters? Adequacy of evidence. The court claims the prosecution has presented enough evidence to proceed, so releasing him on bail would be premature. Health and capacity concerns. Kanu's lawyers have repeatedly raised the issue of his health, arguing that he may not be fit enough to stand trial under current detention conditions. The court has requested medical reports to assess this. The question of fair trial and jurisdiction. One major plank of his defense is that his extradition from Kenya in 2021, seen by many as extraordinary rendition, undermines the legitimacy of trying him in Nigeria. The defense says his rights were violated during that jump, which should bar the case. Political overtones and public reaction. This case is not just legal, it's deeply political. Many in the southeast and supporters of Kanu see his prolonged detention without bail as persecution. Others argue that no one is above the law, especially in cases involving national security. Protests have erupted in some parts, demanding his release or at least a fair hearing. Let me break this down plainly. Imagine you are accused of a very serious crime. You ask to be released on bail while the case continues. The court says, "No, we believe the case is strong enough, we can't risk letting you go and disturbing the process or tampering with evidence." That is the position the judge has chosen. But on the other side, Kanu supporters and legal team argue, wait, did the way he was brought here and how he's being treated violate his rights? Does he even have the medical strength to defend himself properly? Those are serious questions. Now, some more interesting twists. Just recently, the court asked for a report from the Nigerian Medical Association, the NMA, to determine whether Kanu is still medically fit to stand trial. Earlier, his case had been adjourned multiple times. In fact, recently it was adjourned to October 16, 2025, to give room for that medical evaluation. Also, in September, the court explicitly rejected his request to dismiss the terrorism charges, saying prosecutors had presented enough prima facie evidence. Now, let me talk to you directly. You might ask, is this fair? Is the judge biased? Is Kanu being targeted or is the state doing its duty? Those are exactly the conversations this development will spark. Here's what to watch out for next. Will the defense file an appeal against this bail denial? They very likely will. What will the medical report from NMA conclude? If it says he's unfit, that could shift momentum. Will international pressure build? Some observers abroad have already criticized the extraordinary rendition and treatment of Kanu. Will the proceedings move faster now? Because denying bail suggests the court wants no more delays. I want you to think with me, if rights can be constrained once, could the same happen to others? This is not only Kanu's case. It is a potential test for how justice works in Nigeria, especially in politically charged matters. Before I continue, don't forget, like the video, share with friends, subscribe, and put on the notification bell so you're always in the loop. There's also a related story creeping into this. Simon Ekpa, a figure tied to the Biafra separatist movement, was recently sentenced in Finland on terrorism and tax fraud charges. That sentencing has implications. It shows how global some of these politics have become, how separation movements are under scrutiny beyond Nigeria. You see, when movements cross borders, ideas, people, funding, legal systems of other countries get involved. So the Kanu case now has consequences beyond Nigeria's shores. First, let's talk about the public mood. Across social media today, especially on X, formerly Twitter, and Facebook, Nigerians are divided. Some are angry, saying this decision is unfair, that Kanu deserves bail like any other citizen who hasn't been convicted yet. Others believe the judge made the right call, arguing that releasing him could escalate tensions in the southeast and possibly trigger unrest. Now, whether you agree or not, one thing is clear, tension is high. In cities like Onitsha, Aba, and even Enugu, there's already talk of renewed stay-at-home warnings by some pro-Biafra groups. Security forces have reportedly increased patrols, especially in sensitive areas. You can imagine what that means. People are scared, businesses may close early, and the fear of clashes rises. Remember, this isn't the first time we've seen this kind of reaction. Each time something happens in Kanu's case, whether an adjournment, arrest, or now a bail denial, it sends a ripple through the entire southeast. And that ripple affects lives, traders lose sales, transporters stay off the roads, and regular citizens just want peace to go about their day. If you're watching right now, tell me in the comments. Do you think this ongoing case is bringing peace closer, or pushing it further away? I want to know your thoughts. And please, don't forget to like this video, it really helps the channel grow and reach more people who want honest updates on what's happening in Nigeria. Also, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our next analysis on this same issue, because trust me, it's not ending soon. Now, legally speaking, this denial of bail means that the defense must rethink its strategy. The lead counsel for Kanu, Chief Mike Oscom, SAN, has been arguing that Kanu's continued detention is unconstitutional, especially given the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention ruling in 2022, which said his arrest and extradition were unlawful and called for his release. The Nigerian government didn't comply then, and it doesn't look like they plan to now. So, it's a kind of stalemate. The court says, stay in custody. The defense says, his detention violates international law. And between both sides are millions of Nigerians watching and waiting. Another point that's worth talking about is the impact on the political scene. We're in a season where the Southeast is demanding inclusion, people are calling for more attention from the federal government. The longer this case drags, the more it shapes how people from that region view national unity. Some politicians are even quietly suggesting that resolving the Kanu issue might help calm tensions and open the door to more national dialogue. Now, whether that will happen or not depends on how both sides play this in the coming weeks. But one thing is certain, this case has become symbolic. It's not just Nnamdi Kanu versus the federal government, it's about how Nigeria handles dissent, opposition, and the right to self-determination. Let me also say this, in fairness, the court's reasoning isn't entirely without basis. The judge emphasized the seriousness of the charges and the need to maintain the integrity of the trial. And let's be honest, in Nigeria, we've seen cases where people granted bail disappear or skip court dates. So the court is trying to prevent that scenario. But there's still the human side. This man has been in detention since 2021. That's 4 years of waiting, back and forth in court, without resolution. No matter your view, that's a long time to be held without freedom. Now, here's something else people are discussing, the effect on IPOB itself. Since Kanu has been in custody, IPOB structure has changed. Some say it's weakened, others say it has become more radicalized, especially with voices like Simon Ekpa pushing harder from outside the country. With this bail denial, you can expect that some factions may feel emboldened to act out, which is why the government and security agencies are on high alert. But here's where I want us to pause and think, could dialogue have worked better? Could this issue have been solved politically, rather than through endless court battles? After all, even in difficult times, we've seen governments choose negotiation over confrontation. The Niger Delta Amnesty Program, for example, helped bring calm in a region that once saw heavy violence. Could something similar help the Southeast situation? I leave that for you to reflect on. Drop your thoughts below, let's talk like one family, respectfully. And please again, if you're watching this now, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share, so more people can hear the full picture, not just rumors. Alright, back to the core story. Kanu's next court date is expected soon, and his legal team is likely to appeal the bail denial at the Court of Appeal. They are also pushing for better access to him in detention, arguing that the DSS has restricted communication and medical access. These are things we'll be watching closely. Now, something that also came up today. Some civil rights groups, including the Ohani's Nigbo Youth Council, have released statements calling for calm. They're urging people not to take the law into their hands and to allow the legal process to continue. That's a positive message, because at the end of the day, we don't want violence or chaos. We want fairness, peace, and justice to prevail. So, as this story develops, remember this: no matter your side, let's pray and hope for a solution that benefits Nigeria as a whole. Because division and unrest only make things harder for everyone. Let me end this segment by saying, the next few weeks will be very crucial. Will there be an appeal? Will the medical report change anything? Will there be protests? We'll be here to break it down for you the moment it happens. Once again, please like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, so you'll be among the first to get updates when we bring you part 2 of this story.